Hello, do you want to learn how to win BAM? Before we continue this video though, this will not actually make you win like 100% of the time. This is just tips and ways to help you have a better chance. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it, and I'll give you the first tip. The first tip is all about actual building. So if you didn't know, BAM is a building contest. So if you suck at building, then you're going to want to at least try to get better. A few ways to help yourself a little bit is creating an interesting color palette. A color palette is a group of like 3 or more colors that all look good together and that you're going to build your map based off of. An example is this kind of color palette right here. We have these 3 colors, and together they make kind of a cool little combination. So yeah. When you build, you also need to be innovative. What I mean by this is using blocks for something you think wouldn't work. An example is using a chef's hat for a lighting source, which is actually really cool. Another good way to make sure your builds are good is pre-planning them in a way. What I mean by this is thinking about your idea, thinking where stuff is going to be, and how it's going to look before you even start building the map. One of my friends Pickles is doing this, where he's using an outline of pillows, and this actually works really well, so you can go ahead and try his thing too. So yeah, those are all the tips for building. There is probably a crap ton more, although that's just the beginning of what there is to learn. The next thing you're going to need is something that's really, really obscure. Now, the thing about BAM is that not only is it a building competition, although it's also kind of an advertising competition. Now hear me out on this. First of all, this is something that makes people kind of angry, because most people want it to be fully about building, although part of it is kind of advertising. So I'm just going to tell you guys the truth. A really good way to get your BAM even a little bit more popular, if it ever makes finalists, is being able to advertise it. So an example is like me, I guess. If I'm in BAM and I'm in finalist, I can make videos about how I got finalist and how you should vote for my BAM. This will of course get me extra votes, and yeah. Another interesting thing about BAM is that when people vote, I don't really know anybody that actually goes into the maps. Now I know some people do this, although a really important thing is making sure you have a center point in your map. The reason I say this is for kind of like the title card thing that they use to show off the maps, so you don't actually need to go into the map. This is an example of what it looks like. So yeah, if your card looks good, then people are going to vote for you more, which means you need to have a centerpiece, because if your entire map looks the same, then it's probably not going to have a really good area. I'm explaining this horribly, but you at least kind of get the point. Continuing back onto color palettes, something that's really good is an interesting color palette. The thing with an interesting color palette is that it catches somebody's attention really easily. Like if I just see a bunch of black colors and dark colors, and then there's one with a bunch of light colors that looks really cool, I'm gonna pick the one with all the light colors. So make sure you use some kind of color palette that really sticks out to somebody. Now for how you should make your builds. You need to make sure that you have 3 things. 1, lots of detail and good building. 2, places for people to socialize. And 3, you want to make sure that people... And 3, you want to make sure you have an interesting idea. All of these things can combine into making your map perfect. An example for good detail is just a genuinely good-looking map all around. So that means you need to make sure your map looks good every single place that it can be. For making your map socializable, for making it so you can socialize on your map, that means just some place that people can hang out and talk to each other. An example of how it would be bad is just like a huge hill where there's not really any flat spot for people to talk to each other. And then lastly, for the idea, you want to make sure you have an interesting idea that not many other people are going to do. Like, let's say the theme is just treehouse, for example. You're not going to make it where it's just a treehouse. Maybe, now this is a wild idea, but maybe like a treehouse in space. That is something that catches the attention of people. And the last thing is the gameplay. You need to make sure that the gameplay is actually good, because if you have crazy good building, and then your gameplay is just a hangout place but there's nothing to even do, then your map is not going to do well. So, let's say you're doing tag, you need to make sure that there's lots of cool things that you can actually like combo together. So adding zip lines to a tag map, or maybe boosters to hide and seek, you know? All that good stuff actually makes a map feel good. So yeah, thank you for watching this far. That's about it for this video. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe because I'm gonna start doing daily uploads again. So yeah, see ya.